Back with another video. I wanted to go over this topic. We are the angels and devils for one another. So let's get into it. I feel like you have to realize that when you start to examine life and examine situations, man, you see that everything that we was taught is who we are. Everything that is taught is actually us. It's our internal world. It is who we are. So, um, why I came up with this topic, this theory, is because of my own experiences of what I've seen, the encounters of what I've witnessed within my life of being around people in situations. So, the places and the spaces that you go is not by coincidence. I truly believe that this universe, in some way, orchestrates certain things um, for us. Like, do I think that there's some big God in the sky that is doing things by design? Not really. I do believe that in some way this is it's all about energy, and by in some way um we magnetize each other. We magnetize each other. I think that there is some type of spiritual concepts and spiritual things behind it, as in there are some type of supernatural things that go on, different realms, uh, and different spaces, right? So the way that I can think about it is that energy is a basically a form. It's a structure base that we can understand. And then I do believe that there are other realms, as in a spiritual realm, different spiritual bodies that we cannot see, that do provide us and assist us on certain things within this life, as this life comes with different multi-dimensional ways. But from the basis of energy, I believe that the universe orchestrates this way in a scientific way, and brings us into certain settings, whether it's jobs, whether it's schools, and we meet certain people um, in a very fundamental energy based way of attracting the people in our life that we need, um, to kind of help us on our journey, to kind of teach us something, right? So in a way, we are all angels and devils to one another. And if you understand how much power you as a human being have, you can, in some way, you can rewrite other people's stories, or you can help people or navigate or influence people into certain ways. And if you don't understand this power that you possess, you can see how in some way how you can redirect people, um or like, what am I trying to say? I'm basically saying that you can basically redirect people in improper ways when you don't understand your own power and your responsibility of being here. So once you have consciousness of your influence, it becomes very important for you to start practicing in your gifts. It's very important to start practicing in, who you are as a being and what your purpose is here in this life, because you have power to influence people. You have power to influence people. That's what energy is. Energy influences people. You're not the same with everybody, right? You're different. Each energy kind of influences or kind of maneuvers your energy in a certain manner. So it's very important to understand that. So from the experiences in my life, I've noticed different patterns, different things, and There have been more people than not that have remained on my mind or remained in my heart. And every once in a while, like, they'll come across my mind for whatever reason. And I'll send them some energy. Or it can be even a person that I've had a tough time with. But like, this person, even though that they were like tough, there's something about them that just like touches my heart a little bit. And I'll send them some energy, just with my thoughts. um and You have to understand how important it is. That's why I say it's important to treat people well. It's very important to treat people well, because you don't when you wrong somebody, do you know they're probably cursing you in their head every single day? you know um I know that there's probably people in my own life that is probably like just like saying some words about me in their head, because of certain interactions. Or But at the same time, you have to understand, if you've tried your best with somebody, there's nothing much you can do. But they're probably still gonna like say a couple of things in their head. And that's okay, and you have to be okay with that. Because in my humble opinion, I believe that nothing is going to harm you if you yourself respect the energy. So it doesn't matter what people do or what they say, or the energy that they send you, because as long as you're respecting the energy, and you understand the energy, you've taken responsibility of your own energy, there's nothing that's really going to harm you. If anything, everything is a benefit towards you. But this is why I say that we are the angels and devils for one another, because in the spiritual realm, we're more connected than we think, right? So with your mind, you can constantly be sending people, or you can send people love, you can send people hate, you can send people energy to get through what they need to. That's why I believe, man. Sorry guys, I got a little sidetrack. I had to pause and come back. But this is why it's important. Not everybody, you have to understand, the people that you meet in your life, man, you don't know the weight that they hold inside of the spiritual realm. Not everybody holds the same weight, man. There's some people that hold different weights. There's some people that are lighter, and there's some people that are more denser than others. So this is, in my own mind, to be honest, I don't really see anything as good and bad. um I believe there's people that I've met inside of my life that had more denser energies. I'm more lighter. There's people that I've met inside of my life who are quote unquote who are quote unquote devils, who have denser energies. But I believe that I was supposed to meet these people because they were supposed to take me to a darker realm. A realm that I needed to understand, because I have my own opinions about certain things, because I'm more of a lighter person. My energy is more lighter, which means that I'm more of a happy go lucky type of person. That's just my energy. It doesn't mean anything of good and bad. It just means that that's just where I sit on the energy realm. But even when you sit on that energy realm, it doesn't mean that it's always good. And I talk about this all the time, because a lot of times you can be very gullible when you sit in this lighter area. Sometimes you can look at a life at a more surface level sometimes. Um, and Sometimes you can really take life not so serious when you're too light. So there's people I've met who've played the devil in my life, and they needed to be able to to pull my energy to more of a neutral stance, because I'm not seeing the full picture of things. So you have to understand that, not everybody carries the same weight. And you need to be mindful too about who you're dealing with. You have to be mindful about who you're dealing with, because there are some people. You have to understand that people are the blessings. People are the blessings. And this is what a lot of people get they don't understand this. They will never understand this, that people are the blessings. The people that come into your life, they can be either the blessing or the curse, depending on what you're playing with. And you can't fake the funk. So just because I'm saying these words to you and you're trying to be like, oh, I'm going to be a great person to everybody, you can't fake the funk, because people can smell BS. So you can try to be fake and somebody can still curse you out. That's why I love this game, bro, because it's so real that you have no choice but to be your authentic self, because there's no way around it. So even if you're being, trying to be something to try to manipulate another move, you have to understand that the people that come into your life, you have all different type of people, man. And there's people that can smell BS from across the way. So it's always best to be your authentic self, because regardless of what you do, people are not going to like something all the time. But I will say this, you have to understand that when you're being your authentic self, people actually benefit off of you being your authentic self. So even if you're being something that somebody doesn't like, it's actually going to benefit them better than you being something that is fake. Trust me. This is about being in alignment. So that's a different conversation for another time. So, but people are the angels and the devils for one another. And until you understand this, man, until you understand this, man, like, you will be able to have empathy for the world and understanding for each person. So you start to change your mindset to, how can I, what is it? How can I be of service to the people? Right? How can I be of service to the people? But I'm going to leave this video here. Peace and love.